That's the glitch mob. I need my memory back. This should be a very hyped video. I should be super fucking hyped about the M570s. Everyone's hype! Hype! Wallpaper hype. $2 patrons get all my wallpapers. The problem with the M570s is that they come from a long line of already established headphones. And I've already hyped the fuck out of the Sendiivas. Like, these are my babies. And then the blondes were just here a month ago. Like, oh my god, there's literally a meme that's just SpongeBob SquarePants with his lips, and it just says blonde. Because people are fucking in love with them. Or that could also be the blonde BLL3s. Those are also great. So these come out, and they're a clone of those. Which, those were a clone of those. So here we are in the third division. How the fuck is Zio supposed to get excited? Well, luckily for all of you, those are 600, those are 450, and these are 300. Now, is that enough to get me fucking psyched? I pretty much think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure also these are one of the better headphones that Monoprice currently has on offer. So they use the same drivers as the other two. They're tuned a little differently. There's a little more emphasis on treble on these than there is on the blondes or the Sendiivas. Now, the Sendis use narrower pads, so you get a little more aggressive, narrow soundstage, and all the detail in the world. And then the blondes came along with thicker, beefier pads, and it made the soundstage increase. And they also have this like very, very good focus on like warm mids and low end, and it's like, yes, absolutely on my wall. And now these have a focus that takes that focus of down and brings it up. So they keep the same pads, they want soundstage, and then they want more detail in the treble. And they get it. They also get a weird tinny sound. And it's not a deal breaker. Not at all. We're not even talking about the Takstar 580s, by the way, which were the other revision that came out before these two. After this, that was like $200, and it was like, that's not enough money to make this sound good. It sounded hollow and muffled and meh. These are much better examples. They all keep the wooden cup. This is a wooden cup here. You just can't see it because Monoprice decided to fucking paint over the beautiful wood to try to delineate themselves from like the blondes or the Sendis. Because they're all the exact same shape. The exact same shape. The headbands obviously change. We'll discuss that in a second. Let's finish up with the sound. Let's get that stupid sound out of the way. All right? Whatever these... If you just go back and watch my blonde review, and then you take that and you take everything and shift it down like 10%. 10% more treble, and then 10% less bass. Or maybe it's 8%. It's like a small little... Comfort. Well, the same pads as those, and I love those, but not a suspension strap system. Instead, they adopted this giant, meaty, like, holy shit headband. I've never seen one this wide. And it's not padded as much as it should be. This would benefit from, like, another solid quarter-inch of padding to make it absolutely stupendous. But it's decent. And the length doesn't really help because it doesn't go out and down. Like, your curve of your skull takes place at some point. And the build quality is very good. Not blonde. I feel like even these hinges that turn, even though they're pretty much based the same as these just are smoother. And of course, those are God tier build. I know that they were like $1,500 when I first saw them. And it's like, oh, with the soft leather, oh. But half price, fuck. Fuck me, bro. Fuck me, these are so good. Without talking about the blondes or the Sendis anymore, let's just talk about these. Because I've got them all hooked up. I had them all hooked up, balanced. I had a Heart audio cable. I got a Periapt cable for these. I got the Earthsign cable for these. Everything's going. Everything's fair. All the same sources. Swap everything around. These absolutely compete. If these weren't different prices, if these didn't exist, these would be the next best thing in audio. And for $150 less, they fucking are. The only negative I could tell you is that there's an occasional hint of like a tinny... It's kind of like, imagine if your headphone was perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden someone just took like a ring of like a coffee can and just put it over there, and you get this like hollow sound. Not all the time, not on every track, not on every sound, just very specific frequencies sort of ring a little bit, like it's just and it goes away. You never got that on the Blondes, and I thought it was because they had foam. I know I said I'm not going to talk about these, and I'm talking about them all the time. Shh. I thought there was foam back here because you can't see in here, and you could blatantly see in here. Like you could see the wires, and you could see the driver itself back there. There's no foam behind any of these. They're all basically exposed, and then the tuning is done based on how they control the airflow. So the Sendis do the most with this narrow, small holes and out to larger holes on the outside. And there's nothing in front of the driver. You could touch the fascia of the driver on all three, and it's just a piece of fabric. It's just the fabric from the goddamn pads. Now the pads on these are narrow, and I think that adds to the aggressive close detail that these have. There are newer revisions of these pads that are perforated, and they're $25, and you could buy them and put them on either one of these if you wanted to try that out. I do not know if you can buy these pads, however, and put them on that, because that would be interesting to see if you could add soundstage to those. I'll see if I can get the link from my patrons know more about where things are located than I do. Well, they do that thing where they fold flat both directions, you know, that I praise the Blondes for being able to do. So even though the headband system has changed, somehow that trait has stayed. So wonderful. These don't do that. They barely twist at all. So I guess you could call that a benefit. They come with a case, which the Blondes didn't. Here's the wire. Here's the stock wire, which if any of you watched my KLH Ultimate 1 review, I said, fuck you, KLH Ultimate 1. That wire is not a braided silver cable. Well, doesn't that look very familiar to that? And it's smooth and straight and nice. It's just a nice cable. The only difference between this and the KLH1 is this terminates into a dual 1/8 inch, which are marked red and green for Christmas time. Because who the fuck does red and green and not red and white or red and black or red and blue? Why green? Why green? I don't understand the green. But it's a decent wire. They're well enough built. I still think the Blondes have a slight different metallurgy going on that I feel it, and it just everything moves a little bit smoother. You want to compare the sound quality to the Ivas real quick. Smoother. That's it. That's all. Smoother. Whatever they did to the driver, they did 100%. Now other people have heard these and said that they don't sound like I'm describing. And granted, I got this set from CanJam, so I'm sure this is the best example of the Sendi Iva that has ever existed. I'm glad I have it in my possession. But this is no slouch. This is a very visceral experience of planar sound. The low end, I'd say, is... Hold on. Let's just hit it up. Let's hit it up. This is a Stephen Schwartz Bullet Train. It really hits you. Like, the whole sound hits you. And the Blondes... I'm reminding you, release the cooking video. I have to release the cooking video. The Blondes are sort of like a much more subdued, aggressive sound than these. These unlock a little bit more in detail, but at a price. Well, it's $150 less. But that price is just this slight hint in the treble that it's just not quite as control as it could be. But that's fine. You know why? Because $300 fucking dollars for the way these sound. Ugh. My only thing that I'm concerned about is that the M1070s are coming. Boom. Boom. And they're not Thiodio Phantoms, because I thought maybe they'd be copying the Thiodio Phantoms, but it's 101mm versus 106mm driver. So maybe those are just the closed backs with now an open back and a different headband? Because the headband is the worst thing that Monoprice has ever put on the face of this fucking earth. Alright? M560s had an amazing headband, but it wasn't tight enough. M1060s, M1060Cs, garbage headbands. This comes out. This is a marked improvement over every headphone they've ever made as far as build quality goes and comfort. And hopefully the M1070s fucking continue that. I can feel the price difference between the two. And that was why the tax stars at 200 to 580s at 200 were like, stop. You went too far. If this is what you're basing everything off, everything wants to be Sendiiva. And this is a great way to go about it. And this is also a great way to go about it. So I don't want to overhype these things too much. People complain that Zeus, you overhype everything. Here's the fucking problem, everybody that's detractor bastards. I get this. This exists. I hype it because it's great. Then a month later, Monoprice says, hey, we're going to send you the M570s. And I'm like, okay. And this shows up. It's cheaper than that. My price to performance gland goes, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to hype this. This is great. So that's the problem. If I got all three of these at the same time and I would listen to them and say, yeah, these are great, $600, I'd probably just end up with the blondes. And then, oh, well, but then this is so much cheaper. So hype comes as it comes to me, all right? I don't want to be bored. I'm not a boring reviewer. I love things. I love sound. I love music. I love the sound of music. Oh, I don't know what that woman's coming about. Absolutely worth $300. Any little problems I'm complaining about, you'll never notice. Unless you're sitting there like this going, these don't do that ringing thing, but then they do more bass, but this has a better track. Buy them on their own. Forget these other things exist. I'm going to put them on the floor now. On their own, with just these, they stand up fantastically. Fantastically. The detail and the build is, again, the best thing Monoprice ever fucking put out. So I mean, what are we concerned with? What's the negative other than maybe this girl's a little bit sharp and the metal isn't quite as nice as the blondes? I keep going back to them. I will say, this is my final thoughts on this headphone because I don't want to spend all day. You know what they're going to sound like because I've described it twice now. Sendiiva video. Blonde B20 video. Now these with slightly less bass and a little more treble. Fuck. These are going to be on everyone's Christmas wish list because Christmas is coming. There is the fact that I think they know this because the headphones I just dropped on the floor, these ended up on Mass Drop for $500, which is $100 off. And I was like, well, that puts it right in line with the blondes. But then the blondes ended up on Mass Drop for $400. So is it worth $100 to go from here to there? Then it's just a matter of taste. What do you want? You want the little bit softer, more bassy? Or do you want the little bit lighter in bass? More treble. I would say treble accurate, but it just feels phasey treble. I have to stop this review now. What was I going to say? I was going to say words and I lost my mind. Wallpaper in the description. Links to everything here. Either on its own site or on Amazon or on Massdrop because they're everywhere. And link to the sound demo. Oh, and also if you want to join my Patreon, $2 get all my wallpapers, and $5 ask me questions and get to see these reviews early, and at $10 get into a private Telegram chat. Enough of that. Check out the Hi-Fi Guides forum. There is an entire section of just people making predictions on what this video is going to be like and what the other reviewers have said. So links to the Hi-Fi Guide forums, links to Hi-Fi Guides, which is a site to help you buy things because it's easier to navigate than Arzios ever was. I'm going to hold on to these for a little while longer, and I'm going to see if the mods happen, because the mods for this headphone could take it well beyond where it comes stock. Just a little bit of tweaking to the sound. Maybe a pad swap will help, but I doubt it. These are really nice pads, not memory foam, but really nice. It's hard for me to do these reviews without hyping the shit out of something. I'm just trying to like settle back. I'm just like, all right, you know what? They're good headphones. What do you want from me? Just, yeah, great. Oh, these are great headphones too. About how fucking boring these videos would be. Now, you don't have to watch every single one of them. You don't have to buy everything I say, because that seems to be, everyone thinks I make you buy things. I don't make you buy things. I persuade you to think about it, but I make you buy shit. My phone's dinging. She needs to be downloaded. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Sound demo in the description. Monoprice finally made a good choice. Boom.